So, pod number 3, Laurie, Abbey and the Abbey collection in real estate. Very fortunate to have Ryan here today. So, Ryan, just talk to us about yourself, kind of what you've done in your life before this, and what your current role is with Compass Real Estate.
Sure, absolutely. So, I'm a California boy through and through, out here in Colorado trying to survive. I grew up in Northern California and then moved down to Southern California. I've been there for about 13 years now. And I got into tech right after school. So got into technology and really fell in love with it. It was kind of when the Silicon Beach, as they call it, was booming in Southern California. And stayed in tech for about 10 years. And I really loved that tech aspect because it enabled me to learn a lot, to build a lot of companies, to scale a lot of companies. So my last couple companies, I went in when there was 10, 20 employees and built them up to $300, $400, $500 or 500 person companies and multi-$100 million companies.
Geez, how old are you? You look like you're about 23. How would you have time to do all that?
And so, my background's in technology, and what brought me to Compass is I was around technology so often, and everyone uses technology every day, right? And I was kind of tired of tech, to be honest with you, and all of the needless apps and everything that we're using. And I said, you know what, the next company I work for, I want it to be involving technology in an industry that has the opportunity to really innovate. And I looked around, and it was a funny story. It was the same day I had a buddy who's in finance who just got a new Tesla, and he told me all about his new Tesla. He's putting one finger on the steering wheel. I drove him to work for 45 minutes. And then I talked to my other buddy in real estate. And this person said, oh yeah, I gotta go into my office to pick up a physical check. And we've had direct deposit for how many years now, right? And I said, whoa, something's wrong with this picture. And I started looking more into it, and I saw how behind real estate was in the technology aspect. And so when Compass came along, they actually reached out to me, and we had dialogue for 3-4 months. And I got to know the company well, and I said, man, it's
a really good fit. It seems like a really good fit that you came together, your tech background, you saw there's kind of an opportunity there in real estate.
Exactly.
And you kind of just jumped on it.
Exactly. And I felt like they had an opportunity to do something that was actually going to affect a lot of people. And that's what I care about doing.
Brilliant. And then, so quickly explain how you met Laurie, and then more importantly, she said you never took her out for lunch, and lunch is one of her favourite things in Cherry Creek.
We still have
so why not?
I think more than anything, he's just wondering how you were able to even get me to come into the office without the promise of a lunch. I even think when I scheduled it, you gave me that as an option. And I was like, no, I want to come check out the office. So there was an option where I could have done that, but lunch is my favorite next to, of course, you, the kids, dogs, and real estate.
So do you really think that tech side has really kind of taken on Compass, and that's really what separated it from other brokerages and other kind of more traditional real estate models in this country?
I think it's part of it, right? I think a lot of people play up the tech, which we certainly have really good tech. But I think within tech gets buried this term of innovation. And that's what I really think is different about Compass, is not necessarily just the technology of the company. It's the innovative way of thinking about problems and coming up with solutions that are different than everyone else has.
I think it's great. I mean, just looking through what Compass is about and how they kind of recruit people. I think you've got the people, we've got the tech, that can really find a niche in the market. And it's a massive market to take advantage of, especially in this country.
Exactly. Especially when we have great people like Laurie on the team.
Exactly. We'll get more to that later.
Yeah.
But obviously, I'm
still going to take you to lunch. Don't worry.
Ryan, I've done a little bit of a background check on you, and looking through your LinkedIn account. One article you wrote on there was coffee for closers.
Yeah.
Can you explain what that means to you, and then how that relates to Compass and real estate? Yeah. Coffee doesn't relate to Laurie because she's a tea drinker. So we'll get to you, Laurie, at the end as well.
But I understand the reference. I like it.
So that was an article that I wrote years ago. I was actually in a marketing role at the time. So I have a background in both marketing and sales. And it was an article actually explaining how marketing and sales need to be more aligned to be more effective in sales. And so I was withholding the coffee until the sales team got on the same page as the marketing team. But being on I've been on both sides of the table with both marketing and sales, and I think what's most important for any sales organization is to be aligned with the other parts of the organization, no matter if it's marketing, no matter whether it's product or operations or whatever else, in order to be really effective and to provide something that is of value and lasting. Your whole solution has to work in tandem with the other parts of the company.
I think if you're not aligned, you're not being efficient, you're not being effective. And same as you, Laurie, you've got the Abbey Collection team. If your agents aren't aligned to what you're thinking, what your goals are, as we spoke about last week with the process and the outcome, then you're not going to get there as fast as you want or as effectively as you might want to get there.
Well, I know that was kind of back to what you were doing even in the coaching world that you've been doing for such a long time, which is if everybody knows where you want to get, then it's sort of up to them to figure out how to get there. So everybody has to have the mission and the vision and be aligned in that direction. And then everybody might do it a little bit differently, but we all want to get to the same place, which is in the case of Compass, is a 20% market share.
Oh, yeah.
And which I heard
Or
this
more.
morning, we're already at, that's 40% in San Francisco, isn't it?
Yeah.
I heard we're already at 3% in just a few short months here in Denver.
I heard it might be closer to 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's a whole 2020, wasn't it? It was going to the 20 best markets in this country
Yeah.
and getting the 20% market share.
Yep.
And I think in some markets, it's phenomenal that Compass has taken over. And I think in Denver here, what we're talking about primarily is they're already getting that market share. We're all at 3%, 5%, and it's growing. And it's great with people.
Down from 3 to 5 just since this.
The market share it's funny. I think no matter whether it's Compass or another company, you can't gain market share without a product market fit. And I think the market share for Compass more than anything shows that real estate agents all over the country deserve something better than what they were getting or what they had access to. And so I think we're really proud that a lot of these agents have come over to Compass and have started using our solution and our platform and part of our company. But I think the agents deserve it more than anything. They deserve a great solution that helps them be more effective, because I know Laurie as well as her team, right? There's a lot of inefficiencies, and that's just with any agent, right? A lot of the things that you're forced to do as part of being a real estate agent. And we're trying to take some of those off the agent's plate so that they can be more strategic and work with their clients even better.
Well, here's how you know how good the technology is. I was frustrated the other day that I couldn't get a piece made the way that I wanted it made. And so I quickly went into the Compass pre-marketing postcards, because you had shown me when you were first recruiting that you could make it in 2 clicks. And I'm like, I don't understand why this can't get done. I can make this in 2 clicks. And I actually was able to open it up, pull it, and make a beautiful piece in maybe 5 clicks. That's truly about it. And so again, it's really nice to have the design team to be able to do things exactly like you want them done, but for something that we're running off and we get a last minute appointment, we're meeting somebody at lunch that may want something, to be able to whip it out in seconds and have it still look the same quality that other people spend weeks trying to get is one of the many things that sort of excited me about coming here.
Yeah.
I think it's clean and consistent in the market, isn't it? So it's very easy to do, which every agent needs, because they're always rushing around, especially you, Laurie. It's always last minute, it's never really planned ahead of time, let's be honest. But it's very clean and consistent, which goes along with your brand and your marketing, how you want to be perceived and out there as your team as well as yourself.
Yep.
So I think just jumping ahead, Ryan, any company is really only as good as its employees. We can speak about here in Denver because that's where Laura and I are based, but it's great that you're here today because you can speak about a company-wide program. The profile of those agents you're really selecting. I think that selective process, is that one of the differences, what sets Compass apart from other brokerages in this country?
I believe that it's the main difference. I really do. I think the lifeblood of your business is your people at the end of the day. That's what separates you from anything else. Everything that we do at Compass is surrounding the agent. It's to enhance the agent. It's not to replace the agent. I think we're really lucky to start with a really strong starting point with what we consider the best of the best. And I actually came from, my last company was in the hiring space, in the tech hiring space. And it was really interesting to see the different philosophies that companies use in hiring and all of those different things. But the one thing that is constant in any business is culture is key, right? And it brings people to the company, it keeps people at the company. We all spend way too much time at work, right? Especially Lori and the best real estate agents. And so when you're spending that much time on any endeavor, you want to make sure that you spend it around people that you respect, that you trust, and that you want to learn from. And that's what we really tried to create here.
It was interesting, just reading through what Compass culture is, and we read it out again. We've gone through that, and it hit Laurie's points. You know, it's dream big. You know, that's massive. I think Laurie dreams big. You know, you move fast.
Yeah.
She drives fast as well. She also moves fast. You know, it's learn from reality. You know, it's not pie in the sky thinking. It's what you do every day and how you make yourself better. And Laurie, we've spoken about the last two podcasts about the knowledge factor, the education of the market to your clients, and how you really hold that as the kind of key thing that separates you from other agents. You know, you've got to be solution driven. You know, you're such a good problem solver when it comes to contracts, when it comes to different items with different clients. Like, you problem solve and you get that solutions out there as fast as you can. You know, you obsess about the opportunities, whether that's residential, investment, multifamily, whatever it is. Like, you want your clients to be the best they can be in the real estate world. You know, collaborate without ego. That just shows me humility. Nobody's too big for this industry, and you always want to learn from other people. But if you surround yourself with the right people, you will always learn from those people as well. You know, maximize your strengths and bounce back with passion.
Well, one of the things that I want to have you help me with, and I don't know how this fits in with some of your questioning, but most of my business is done through my own friends and friend base, and so I don't actually have to do a lot of pitching of myself to get listings, because I've already built up that trust by the time somebody needs to list their house. We're doing a little bit more farming, so I'm going to be doing a little bit more pitching myself, and I think the Compass brand is very, very strong. So one of the things I really wanted your help with this podcast and just in general is, what are the things that we do that make us stand out in the marketplace as agents? So obviously you're talking about everything you're doing to help our day be more convenient, but one of the things I was most impressed with is some of the things that you do to help us be a better agent to our clients.
Yeah.
And so that's where I wanted to take a little bit more of this, because I want to be able to know, again, how to say it to people who don't already know, love, and trust me.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. And I'm happy to go into that. I think, you know, Lori obviously sells herself, so it's usually a pretty easy proposition if you get in the same room with someone. You know, in terms of the Compass value proposition, I think there's a couple things that I've seen resonate, especially even with this Denver community, right? One thing that I think is really key to point out is that the Denver community at large is one of the most, Colorado in general, is one of the most progressive communities in the nation, right? And everything from politics to, you know, local laws being passed. You know, it's one of the few purple states. You know, it is a very progressive place. A lot of tech is moving here. There's a lot of new ideas flowing everywhere. And I think within that, the client base is also very progressive.
yeah.
Right? And while, yes, you know, there's some really strong brands that have been in the community for a while, I think a lot of people are starting to ask, hey, why can't I use more technology within the transaction? Why can't I see more of the data behind my listing online? Why can't I do some of these modern things that are, you know,
Other industries are doing, especially
everywhere.
for our clients that work in tech.
Exactly.
And then they come and they do. I have had it said many times that, oh, we have to do it this way, or we have to do that. That's weird, because in our industry, we, you know, so I have felt for a long time that we were 5-10 years behind a lot of other industries.
So I think number one, a company that's as modern as your clients is a great selling point. Right?
Yeah.
Number two, I think our marketing capabilities are top notch. And look, there's some other great marketers in town and some other good brokerages who do some great marketing. The difference with Compass is that we are one-on-one marketing. And that doesn't just mean for you and your team, but also means for each listing.
Yeah.
Because each listing should demand a different marketing strategy, and they shouldn't all look the same. And so being able to really get in front of the right constituents for each listing is very important to your sellers, so that we can get the listing in front of the people who are potential buyers.
Yeah, and that's where I think the coming soon product
Yes.
is, especially as we gain market share, the coming soon product that we offer becomes more and more important.
Completely. And I think the coming soon, the two biggest things that you could probably tell a seller are coming soons and concierge.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I had a really interesting conversation with an agent a couple months ago, and he came to me and he said, Ryan, the only reason I'm here today, and he said, because I have one big developer who I work with all the time. And he said, my developer keeps asking me what the hell I'm getting from my brokerage. I don't use the marketing, I'm not getting any support, right? The name on the sign doesn't do much for us. So what am I getting from the brokerage? And for so long, the brokerage hasn't provided anything to the agent's clients, right? The people you really care about. And concierge, the way I think about that, is the first time that it's a direct benefit to your client. And if your client's happy, you're gonna be happy, right? And so with concierge, we now allow our agents to go to their clients and be the best advisor they could possibly be by saying, hey, I know if we do some renovations, staging, decluttering, landscaping, this might cost $15,000, but it could also make you an extra $45,000.
Yeah, I was going to say, and that's where I think not only being able to do it, because a lot of my clients aren't able to afford those kind of things. Some are, or some just won't take the risk.
Exactly.
Whatever it is, that's a big thing. The concierge is something that everybody in Denver seems the most excited about.
Yes.
I had a little mini concierge program myself. I would either front the money, or I had contractors that would do a lot of the work and then just take the money at closing. But that can only take you so far.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not going to front $20,000 worth of work. You guys have $1.2 billion backing you. I don't quite have that in the bank, so I feel a little bit better taking your money to do that than
take as much as you want.
Well, also mentioned what you said there, Ryan, about that developer not really feeling the benefit of the brokerage. And I feel that, Laurie, you probably felt that with other companies you work for. And yet you've come on and you've embraced the Compass Tech. You've embraced some of the functions that Compass really enable you to be a better agent.
Which is something I've never done before because I've not believed in it to the extent that I needed to. I would always think, yeah, they have this behind the scenes, they have this, they offer that, but it's not at the level that I feel my clients deserve, that the way that I want to present us, whether it was the staging or anything else. And so I would just piece together a lot of it myself, which then makes every transaction 5 times harder. If I'm doing all the contractor stuff and paying for this and getting the painter over and doing everything by myself, and then I have money for staging, so then I'm paying for that. Or I'm at a company that does it, but again, not to my level. So I thought this was the perfect solution. When you were talking earlier about being solutions driven, I thought this was the perfect solution to now we can have all of this done at the level that I want it done for my clients, at a level that's going to get them the amount of money that they should get, not just sort of, you know, not that all these places do it half-assed, but again, if you're piecing things together, you don't always have it's not always the best presentation.
And you bring up a great point with piecing things together. I think for so long, real estate has been very fragmented into different pieces. People have to go, you know, to their real estate agent for everything, but then they also don't know where to go to get mortgage or contractor and inspector or this or that. And in the ideal world, we want to make it really easy to have a brand that consumers can trust. That's what we really want. You know, I think when I use the example of Apple, right? When anything goes wrong with any of my technology, I can just go to the Apple store, right? Computer, phone, watch, like
yeah,
whatever.
Set up an appointment, but yes, you can.
But it's something I trust, and it just works. Like, I thought the AirPods were a little crazy when I first saw them, but
I'm with you. I love them.
You take them out of the box like you're addicted. You can't go through life without them afterwards. And so that's what we want to create, is a trusted brand where your consumers can trust a company to help them pay for all of the staging and, you know, all of that stuff. Then
that's already been vetted.
Yeah, and then they can search all properties online when they're looking for a home through Compass, right? They can see how their home is performing on the marketing angle. They can do all of this stuff through one place.
Yeah, I love, that's the other thing I like. The analytics, I think, of the data behind the scenes. It's not only impressive, there may be that data in other places, but it's certainly harder to use.
Yeah.
I found it accidentally looking for something the other day, so it was right there. I was looking for a different piece, and I was like, oh, what's this? And then I saw the analytics for some things I had on Coming Soon and some other places, and I was very impressed with how easy it was to get to that and to read and figure out what was going on. And then I found myself kind of stuck there in it, reading through it. It was very interesting to see all of the data that's provided. So that's another part of the tech piece that I like.
Yeah, the data is huge, because a lot of people are demanding that now. We want to make it really easy
Oh,
for
they
you to pull that
absolutely,
data
yeah.
and share that with them.
Well, because again, as you said, a lot of tech people are moving here into town, and so a lot of our clients are tech-based, whether it's they're actually at a tech company, or they're at a really high-level oil and gas company that has a lot of money to bring in a lot of tech, so they're used to things at a certain level. And I didn't feel like we were providing it before, and now I can answer those questions. I can look in there and say, well, maybe we could switch our strategy a little bit because the data's telling us this.
Exactly, and I think the best agents do that same thing you're saying, is they look at the data and then they create changes to the marketing plan that are going to help get this in front of the right people.
Yeah, we're really not getting in front of the 30 to 50-year-olds and not who can afford a house like this. We have a lot of 18 to 30-year-olds looking at this $1.8 million house, and that's probably a very limited pool as to who can afford that.
Or for those larger listings too, one of the things I love is that we actually show you where the views are coming from online.
Yeah.
And what we know is that 100,000 people are moving to Denver per year, right? And so a lot of these people are moving from out of town, be it San Francisco, LA, Chicago, Dallas, to Denver and looking for homes. And a lot of them do have more capital coming from the coast or these places with a little bit higher salaries in these different places. And so it also enables you to go after out of town buyers that other people
I saw
aren't
that.
even thinking
I saw
about.
that too. I saw that on one of them where it was saying like 4 people had looked at it from Miami, Florida.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny because I had just said to someone, we were talking about where we might go visit to meet agents in other cities, and they said, nobody's moving here from Miami.
Your team wouldn't enjoy Miami at all.
No. So, and then the very next, the piece of analytics I came across said that 4 people from Miami were looking at that particular listing, and I thought, of all the places in the U.S. that, I do think a lot of it's coastal, where they want the good weather, but without the cost.
Yeah.
It's getting a little harder.
Do you think it's really the simplification of the data of what people want to see? Because there's tons of data out there. You said before with your previous jobs, there's all these apps out there. There's lots of different data out there, data points you can get to. But it's really simplifying that data. It's not going to make sense to the client. They don't want all these random data points.
Yeah.
And it's going to make sense for them and their house, sell or buy.
And I think Compass absolutely helps with that. But that's a testament to great agents like Lori as well, where I think there's a lot of companies coming into this space saying, hey, we can get rid of agents, right? We can do their job through technology. And that's where someone with the expertise like Lori has can come in and say, hey, I've sold 10 homes in this neighborhood. I can tell you exactly what your home is worth, where you should price it, all of that type of stuff. So I think algorithms can help, but really you want the human experience to be able to go to someone like Lori and say, hey, I have experience doing this. I've done it before. I can tell you this will work.
And even the experienced agent can take that data and they know what it says because they understand how that fits into that particular area or to their strategy. I think an example of that, we just had a home that was listed for $750 by another agent, and we looked in, and I think Zillow had it somehow at $680, but I said $599, and we ended up selling it for $606 once we came in, listed it correctly, and then we got 2 offers and got it a little bit over $6, and that was simply, the data was there, but there are little things that you maybe not understand. Zillow doesn't know that literally 2 streets away, you cross into a completely different school district. So you go from 9 rated schools to 1 and 2 rated schools. So it's a 9 out of 10 versus 1 or 2 out of 10.
Only you would know that.
Yeah, you can't. The Zillow can look at it and go, oh, well, this house 2 blocks away sold for this, and this house looks like this, and it must be worth that. And it simply isn't. As we discussed before, you can have a $400,000 difference in a 6-block radius going from Hilltop over to a different part of Mayfair, but it could be the same house, same size, same everything. So analytics, I just don't think that things that are not an agent, the agent can look at that, but again, they know what street to cut off that data.
Yeah. And I think one of our philosophies in a motto we repeat a lot is high tech, high touch, right? Which means the combination of technology plus really valuable humans who have been doing this and have the experience, and combining those two is really where the magic happens for the client.
I agree.
Because that trust factor, isn't it? You can have all the tech in the world, but somebody's not portraying that in the right way. You don't trust them.
Exactly.
It's a huge investment these people are making in that house, whether it's their forever home, whether they're buying rentals, they're buying investment properties. And we've spoken about before on the pod, Lori, relationships and connections. That's massive in today's world. It will be and it will be forever. It's very much a people's world. You can't solve solutions through an algorithm.
So
it doesn't happen in real estate.
I use the example even of something as small as like buying a new sport coat, right? I know what my size is, but I still have trouble buying these things online because you get it and it fits. Everyone fits a little bit different, right? Like I need that human validation of someone being there with me to say, oh yeah, that looks good, that fits well, right? Or oh no, you need to get this taken in like X, Y, and Z, and that's a couple $100 jacket or something.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the largest transaction of someone's life. People want that experience.
Well, and you have to have it to the agent, little things like they can say, well, I don't like this because this one has ugly green walls and an orange stove. I like that one over there that's decorated exactly like I want it. Well, that one over there happens to be on the highway, and this one here happens to be something that we can switch those two things out for about $2,000.
Yeah.
So, now mind you, most people are not that uninformed, but to a certain extent, that's your job, is to protect their money. So it's my job to come in and go, I understand that, but I can make this look like that for about $5,000 with contractors, but this is going to be so much more valuable for you in the future for resale, etc. So unless you want to be in this particular location, or unless you want to stay here for 30 years, this is the better sale. So it's helping them also get rid of the emotion, look past it, and use logic to what's best for them in the future. And again, they can make whatever decision they want, but as long as they're making it from a very educated standpoint.
Yeah. And I love what you said there about we are protecting your money, right? I think there's somewhat of an epidemic in the real estate market, right? Where there's so many real estate agents, and there is somewhat of a low bar to get into to be a real estate agent, right?
Yeah.
And what it's done is it's created this perception with a lot of people that real estate agents are just these salespeople, right? And what we know and what we truly believe is that the best real estate agents, just like Lori just said, are real estate advisors, right? It's not about getting the sale, it's about advising their clients to the best decisions they can make.
We spoke about that, being a resource, having that market knowledge is
being the resource and being
factor.
the educator, not a salesperson, you're an educator, or an advisor, or a protector, or whatever it is. It's that person who is there to protect them and to advise them, and all the things you're talking about.
And what we see is, which is really interesting, and we're pushing towards this shift too, is we want to elevate you and our other agents here to be in the same breath as someone's financial advisor, right? Because you're so much more knowledgeable than these people who are buying and selling the homes for the most part, right? That we want them to call you, number one, whenever they have a question about any real estate transaction, right?
Well, good, because they do.
They do, right? And I think it's a misconception when people don't find the value in an agent, right? Maybe they're just with the wrong agent. But the best agents, like you're saying, are pure advisors, and they're the person that you want to keep close to you so that they can answer all of your questions and protect your investment.
Well, and it happens, the amount of times it happens in even a given week is pretty phenomenal. So one of the things that I think happens a fair amount is I will get called to people's houses all the time saying, hey, come over, can you have a glass of wine? By the way, I would love it if you could see if I've got $10,000, should I do a pergola, should I change out this wall, should I do this, what's going to be better for future value? But I really wanted you to come over for wine, but if you could just look at this, that'd be great. So
do you check what kind of wine they're serving?
she brings her own wine.
Exactly, just in case, we keep it in the trunk. But no, so that is exactly what you're saying. And this is why I felt it was so aligned when you and I spoke, because I don't know if you remember the amount of times you were saying things to me that I'm like, that's what I've always thought. But I felt like it would be years before I could figure out how to get there, and you guys were 6 years ahead of me because you sat down and thought about it while I was out there putting out fires, so you're being proactive. But that is what I want to be, and that's the resource, and it's clearly working because we've got 4 or 5 or 6 clients from the last 6 months to a year that we have to go see in the next week or two to either advise them on their home, tell them what they should be doing, talk to them about their next investment property, and talk to them about times of year to buy and sell. So it's all.
I love that.
Yeah. So we are the resource, but now I'm better able to be a resource because of the technology backing me.
I love to hear it. I love to hear it.
So Ryan, just a quick question, and to Lori, you as well. Where do you see Compass this time next year in 5 years' time? Tough question. I think
Compass
the tech.
overall or Compass
Yeah.
here?
It's tough for Ryan because obviously you're countrywide.
Yeah.
You travel everywhere, so you may see some factors in different markets that you may think will work here in Denver, and vice versa as well. But obviously, a lot of people come to Denver. There's people who are leaving and coming from all over the country.
Yeah.
So what do you see in different markets that we can bring to Denver? Obviously, to help Laurie and the other agents in this office here.
Yeah.
And where do you see Compass keep improving? Is it just for their tech side? Is it hiring the correct people, as we're doing, as you guys are doing at the Local Story? And how do you see the agents really improving and being that obviously that advisory role to their clients, as you just brought up?
Yeah, great question. So, I'll answer that in two ways. In terms of Compass, I think we have a pretty clear vision of what we want to build. More than anything, we want to protect the agent. And the biggest threat to that right now is a bunch of people coming into this industry and trying to devalue the agent and say, hey, we can do this without agents for X% or whatever it may be, right? So what Compass really wants to do is build a platform that all people want to go to, right, when they're searching for their homes, and where the best agents are located, and where they can work off the same platform to reach a common goal, whether it's to find a new home to buy or to sell their home in the fastest time possible for the highest price. But we want it to all happen on one symbiotic platform that is easy for all sides to use and that people genuinely trust. That's what we want to build, right? Now, how do we get there? It all starts with our agents. We have to have the best agents in the country, and then we have to build around them. In terms of the trends that I see happening, I see a bunch of trends because, like you mentioned, I do kind of travel around. One thing that I see is that Denver real estate is a great market to be in, while the other markets on the coast sometimes are softening, especially the luxury sector. I think a lot of people are moving here from the coast because it is a little bit more affordable, and so it's been a pretty booming market. But the other thing that I've noticed is that the best agents will continue to win, right? And we see it in all of our markets.
I agree with that.
When you give the best agents the best resources, I would say the deals start consolidating towards the top, towards those
Cream
best.
always rises.
It always rises, and I think one thing that we're seeing a lot of right now is it is not easy to be an independent real estate agent just getting into this business, because people are getting a lot more sophisticated. You're getting a lot more sophisticated. You have an entire team that you can utilize in selling a home or helping someone buy a home, and competing versus those teams is very hard for individuals. So we're seeing the team structure be really popular right now. We think it's the way of the future, and we think that the best agents are going to keep growing their teams, keep growing their presences, and they're going to keep being more efficient so that they can handle more clients, and that the business will be more consolidated.
And more specialized too. So as we bring different people on the team, I think you do have the ability to, well, I'm really, really good at this, I'm really good at investments. So I can go out and look at investments all day long, for example, and you can go show those houses down in Highlands Ranch or whatever it is where you can specialize a little bit. So I do think that helps. And if you've got a team, you've got different people with different areas of expertise. You also have different availability. As things move quickly in Denver, we need to do this, there's going to be somebody that's able to help with that, and it has happened. We have not missed anything because we were able to send someone. If 3 people need to be somewhere at once, we've got 3 people to cover. Even like yesterday, we had a failed FHA appraisal. Did you hear about this?
No.
We had a failed FHA appraisal.
So everybody listening, this is a classic Laurie story, and it's not the first time it's happened.
No, it happens a lot.
Certainly won't be the last, but I think it's that solutions driven, and we really want to be the best for the clients.
Yeah, so this is what happened. So we failed an FHA appraisal. The girl needs to close on Friday. She's basically homeless. Her stuff's all packed, and the FHA appraiser, they had to go back because the first appraiser, I don't know, his license had lapsed or something. So she goes back. Well, this second FHA appraiser comes back, and there's peeling paint. There's a pergola that's on its last legs. It's going to fall down and crush someone. There's holes that someone could fall into. There's all sorts of things. And she's like, there's no way. This was at 11 o'clock yesterday morning. There's no way we can pass this through. There's no way this is happening. And I'm like, oh yeah, there's a way. It's happening. I don't know how, but this is happening. So we called a bunch of people. I think you had at any time 5 or 6 people working over there at different times yesterday. By 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon, we had the house painted, the pergola torn down, the hole filled in, the weeds pulled. We sent the FHA appraiser back. She could not believe it. She couldn't believe it. She passed it, put the appraisal through. She wrote like just a huge note to us about how impressive it was. My client said there are no words, like I can't even, I'm so impressed, we're so happy, thank you so much. The other agent was happy, the client was happy, and even the buyer, I'm the listing agent in this case, and then the lender was also quite happy and impressed. So we were about to lose everything, and in 5 or 6 hours we pulled it all together and redid a whole house almost. So
I think that goes on to
yeah.
the whole Compass culture. I mean,
Yes,
we dreamt
exactly.
big, we moved fast because we had to.
Yep.
There was no other way to do it.
Yep.
We got it done. You learn from reality. You just get the job done.
We collaborated together. We had a whole team available,
Yeah.
and we wanted to be solutions driven for our client and for the other client. We want the best outcome for everybody involved.
And I think, you know, more than anything, what I hear from that is what I hear from the best agents across the country, right? And one thing that we picked out early on in Compass is the best agents all share one thing in common. They work tirelessly.
Drink
They
coffee.
they work tirelessly for their clients, right? And they will go above and beyond to do anything to make sure that their clients are successful. And that is the perfect example of going above and beyond for a client to make something happen for them.
Oh, that, and as David said, we've done it before. We gathered 24 people one time, and in 4 hours built an entire fence, scraped paint off a wall, put a vanity in, built
Some
light
light fixtures.
fixtures. And
But then what happened with that is they said it couldn't be done. As a pro athlete, he said it couldn't be done. And we managed to get it done. And the first person who actually walks in the house, in the open house, actually bought the house. So when he said it
from
couldn't
me,
be done,
so we double-ended it. So we said it couldn't be done, and not only did we do it, we did it in 4 hours.
Moral of the story, never tell you guys that it can't
Never
be
say
done.
no.
Or do tell us it can't be done, and we will prove you wrong.
I think, Ryan, really appreciate you being on here. I know you travel a lot, so great you spending an hour or so here with us.
My
Laurie, obviously, always a pleasure. Learn some new things, have some fun along the way. I really feel that Compass is a great fit for you, Laurie, and the team. Obviously, you've been at other brokerages before. You feel this is a really good fit for you. You've bought into their systems and their processes and their culture.
Yeah.
And I think that sums up what Compass is. It sums up what Compass is trying to be and what it will be in the future. And Laurie, you're along for the ride, and it'll be a very exciting ride, as we all know with Laurie Abbey.
I just want to say the one last thing I want to say about that is the reason that I'm so excited and I have bought into it is because I really do feel like this gives me the best opportunity to serve my clients at the highest level. So this is the first time I've ever come in and really felt like everything aligned that way, where my clients, I knew were going to get the best of everything possible. So I love it, and thank you very much, and thank you very much. Don't we do high fives at the end?
We do.
of the video?
Boom.
Woo!
Get it done. Cheers, Ryan.
I promise I'll take you to lunch.
All right, thank
That's
you.
on video.
Exactly. Thank you.